People follow the calmest person in the room. This happens before anyone explains anything. The brain watches reactions first. The person who moves less is seen as safer. Safer is read as higher status. Strong reactions signal need. Need lowers position. Calm suggests choice. Choice suggests control. In practice, this means authority is decided early. When one person rushes and the other pauses, the pause leads. This is done by slowing speech and limiting visible emotion. The outcome shifts toward the person who stays steady. This shows up when few words stop the exchange. You notice it when you feel pressure to explain more. Authority increases when explanations are delayed. Most people think explaining builds trust. In reality, early explanation signals insecurity. The brain reads it as defense. Defense suggests you need agreement. Needing agreement lowers position. When someone explains without being asked, they give up leverage. The listener feels unconsciously higher. In practice, this means waiting before you justify anything. This is done by answering only what was requested. Silence forces the other person to fill gaps. They often add reasons for you. This shifts effort onto them. This shows up when someone over-explains and loses control of the frame. You feel it when you want to talk more to be believed. Pressure shifts to whoever waits after making a statement. Most people rush to fill silence. The brain treats silence as unresolved threat. When nothing happens, the nervous system looks for danger. The person who spoke last is assumed to have control. The person who breaks the silence is assumed to need relief. This reverses perceived power. In practice, this means stating something plainly and stopping. No follow-up, no softening, no extra detail. The pause forces the other person to respond emotionally first. They reveal their position by how fast they speak. Fast replies signal pressure. Careful replies signal uncertainty. This is done deliberately by ending sentences cleanly and waiting. This shows up when someone answers your silence instead of your words. You feel it when your body urges you to speak just to end the moment. People trust statements more when no reason is given. Reasons feel helpful, but they weaken impact. The brain treats reasons as requests for approval. A statement without a reason feels settled. It signals the decision already happened. This creates a status gap. The listener feels behind the decision. In practice, this means stating outcomes, not justifications. This is done by saying what will happen and stopping. When you add reasons, you invite debate. Debate puts you on the same level. No reason forces acceptance or resistance. Both reveal position. This shows up when someone says no explanation and the room adjusts. You feel it when you want to explain to avoid tension. People assign authority to the person who controls the pace. Fast pace feels reactive. Slow pace feels deliberate. The brain links speed to pressure. Pressure suggests something is at risk. Risk suggests weaker position. When one person slows down, the other often speeds up. This creates an imbalance. The slower person appears composed. The faster person appears invested. In practice, this means lowering your speaking speed slightly. It also means taking full pauses before responding. This is done by finishing sentences cleanly and waiting. No filler, no rushing to reassure. The other person starts adjusting to you. They talk more. They reveal urgency. This shifts control without saying anything. This shows up when someone slows the room down and everyone follows. You feel it when you start matching their pace without noticing. Authority increases when small provocations are ignored. Many people react to tone changes or side comments. The brain reads reaction as vulnerability. If something gets to you, it can be used again. Ignoring it removes its power. The person who provokes is testing position. No reaction means the test failed. This shifts status immediately. In practice, this means not correcting tone or attitude. It means responding only to the core point. This is done by answering content and skipping emotion. The provocateur feels unseen. They often escalate or retreat. Both reveal insecurity. The interaction recenters on your terms. This shows up when someone makes a sharp comment and it goes nowhere. The room moves on. You feel it when you notice an urge to defend yourself and do not. Authority grows when you let others overcommit. Most people reveal too much when they talk freely. The brain treats speaking as investment. The more someone invests, the harder it is to pull back. This locks their position. The quieter person stays flexible. Flexibility signals higher ground. In practice, this means asking little and listening more. It means not filling space with your own position. This is done by letting the other person finish completely. They often add details that limit them. They justify themselves without pressure. This creates leverage without force. You gain options while they lose them. This shows up when someone talks themselves into a corner. You feel it when silence makes them keep going. Authority increases when approval is not given quickly. Most people seek signs they are being accepted. The brain treats approval as safety. When approval is delayed, tension rises. The person waiting feels exposed. They begin adjusting behavior to earn it. This shifts control quietly. In practice, this means limiting verbal agreement. No quick yes. No instant reassurance. This is done by listening without nodding or affirming. Neutral responses keep the other person active. They explain more. They soften their position. They try to align with you. This creates leverage without demands. This shows up when someone keeps talking after you say nothing. You feel it when you want to signal approval but hold back. Authority strengthens when you do not correct misunderstandings immediately. Most people rush to fix how they are perceived. The brain reads correction as dependence on approval. Leaving a misunderstanding untouched creates uncertainty. Uncertainty makes the other person monitor themselves. They start adjusting without being asked. This shifts effort away from you. In practice, this means letting minor errors stand. You do not rush to clarify tone or intent. This is done by continuing calmly without repair. The other person fills the gap mentally. They often assume higher stakes than exist. This pressure comes from inside them. You remain steady while they recalibrate. This shows up when someone backtracks without you prompting. You feel it when you resist the urge to explain yourself. Authority collapses when you try to be understood. The need to be understood creates urgency. Urgency exposes dependence. The brain reads this as lower position. When you seek clarity, you hand control away. In practice, this means letting others misunderstand your intent. You continue without fixing their story. They adjust to protect themselves. They search for alignment. They offer concessions without being asked. This shows up when people explain your position for you. You feel it when you want to correct them and do not